So, folks, we have to once again do a little bit of a mind dive into the soupy remnants of Donald Trump's cranium. That is, we have to try and understand what the hell is going on in there because he's just lost it. You know, he's just full on lost it. Like, I want to start today by just going to his Truth Social page, okay? And you have this from a day ago.
Today, I'm signing two historic executive orders continuing my administration's efforts to help more of our citizens achieve the dream of home ownership. It's called the American Dream. Thanks to our purchase of $200 billion in mortgage bonds, mortgage rates recently reached the lowest level in 5 years. This dramatically reduces monthly payments for new home buyers. The annual cost of the typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 since I took office. I'm very proud of that. I also signed an executive order to stop Wall Street and large institutional investment firms from buying up all the single-family homes in the scheme to turn them into rentals and make lots of money in doing it. We want America to be a nation of owners, not renters. Today, I'm taking action to help reduce rates even more and make it much easier to build new homes in America. The first executive order is about bringing more community banks back into the mortgage business. 2 decades ago, over 5,000 community banks were offering mortgages. Today, that number has been slashed by more than 50%, largely because of burdensome, unnecessary regulations that radical liberals impose on community lenders for the benefit of their donors on Wall Street and, frankly, for the benefit of themselves.
Just so you all know, what he's talking about there is lifting the regulations that would stop a redo of the 2008
Australian
mortgage
handler,
crisis.
a mind dive is a bad idea. Local knowledge tells us not to dive into shallow waters.
Australian handler, thank you so much for the 5 tier 1 subs. And true, unfortunately, we must dive. You know? He's talking about undoing the regulations that were put in place to stop the implosion of the economy, like what happened in 2008. What he's desperately trying to do at every turn is trying to juice the economy in an effort to try and dodge the accusations that he's overseeing the dismantling and destruction of the American economy, right? But that's his pinned post, so I thought we'd take a quick look at that. Let's take a look at his other posts here recently. You've got statehood, President DJT. No context for that. Well, I guess a little bit of context for that. He saw Venezuela do well in some kind of sports match and floated the idea about a day ago that maybe Venezuela, because they're good at sports now, needs to become a state. I want to remind you all that the entire government of Venezuela still exists, and they have no interest in being a part of America. But that seems to be what he's talking about here. You know, like, just statehood. And then just, like, tons of AI shit. Like, this is the discourse on Truth Social. It's just all fucking, like, glorifying memes. So, just in case you're ever curious about what's going on over there, it's nothing good. Nothing interesting, really. Here we go. We should not sit and wait for the next attack. Wipe Iran's ballistic capability out and get our troops out of Iraq. They are only targets now. No U.S. WIA, KIA is a tribute to the professionalism of our military and intel professionals, not Iranian restraint. Again, he's mad at Joe Kent for making him seem stupid, I guess, and putting him in an uncomfortable position. So he's tried to show how Joe Kent, noted white nationalist and conspiracy theorist Joe Kent, was wrong for leaving his counterterrorism post. And then you get to some of the older posts from the last few days. And I gotta tell you guys, this is just insane. This is insanity. He sat down and decided to be insane. Okay? The United States has been informed by most of our NATO allies that they don't want to get involved with our military operation against the terrorist regime of Iran in the Middle East. This, despite the fact that almost every country strongly agreed with what we're doing and that Iran cannot in any way, shape, or form be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. I am not surprised by their action, however, because I always considered NATO, where we spend hundreds of billions of dollars per year protecting the same countries, to be a one-way street. We will protect them, but they will do nothing for us, in particular in a time of need. I want to remind everybody, the one time Article 5 was invoked for NATO, every single one of those countries came to the defense of the United States in Afghanistan. So, just as an FYI, he's not even correct here in his insane rant, but we'll continue. Fortunately, we have decimated Iran's military. Their navy is gone, their air force is gone, their anti-aircraft and radar is gone, and perhaps most importantly, their leaders at virtually every level are gone, never to threaten us, our Middle Eastern allies, or the world again. If all of their leadership is gone, never to threaten anyone again, why do you need all the NATO allies to come down and bail you out, bro? Why are you mad? Why are you mad if you've already won like you're claiming? It's fucking insane, dog. Because of the fact that we had such military success, we no longer need or desire the NATO countries' assistance. We never did! Likewise, Japan, Australia, or South Korea. In fact, speaking as the President of the United States of America, by far the most powerful country anywhere in the world, we do not need the help of anyone. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. This is fucking insane, right? He requested the aid of basically every U.S. ally, and they went, lol, no, we're not going to do that. You unilaterally took the United States into a war with Iran, and now we're all paying the price. We're not coming to bail you out for it. Right? Like, it's insane. But it gets worse, guys, because, like, he just was on a tear posting. The Save America Act is one of the most important and consequential pieces of legislation in the history of Congress and America itself. No more rigged elections, voter ID, proof of citizenship, no rigged mail-in voting. We are the only country in the world that allows this. That is not true. No men in women's sports, no transgender mutilization, not how you spell that word, of our children. 90% to 99% issues all. Only sick, demented, or deranged people in the House or Senate could vote against the Save America Act. If they do, each one of these points separately will be used against the user in his or her political campaign for office. A guaranteed loss. Get your senators, Republican or Democrat, to vote yes on the Save America Act. I will never, ever endorse anyone who votes against Save America. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. There is not much of a chance of this getting passed. I did a video on this a while ago. It is dead in the water, Vaughn 400, but they are trying to do... They are bringing it to the floor to debate it. Essentially trying to figure out some kind of way where they can keep the filibuster and pass the legislation. That being said, Murkowski voted against it already. Like, John Thune is basically saying Republicans don't have the votes to do it. Like, they aren't going to really be able to do much with this. But what they are going to try and do, and what they always do try and do with bills like this, is they try and grandstand in order to get the clips that they need for social media. Right? Like, that's what's happening right now. The Senate adjourned until today, when they will re-adjourn at noon. So they are no longer debating it right now, but they adjourned, a while back. Do they love the filibuster or voter suppression more? They love the filibuster more. In its history of existence, the filibuster has routinely served conservative interests, which is why, by the way, there is an excellent case to be made that Democrats should get rid of the filibuster. in order to steam ahead with legislation that will help all Americans. Like, if we get rid of the filibuster, what needs to then happen is effectively a flood of legislation for things like Medicare for all, for things like housing for all, for things like enormously popular bills that need to pass in order to, protect our data rights, stuff like that. We need to actually deliver if the filibuster goes, But, he's trying desperately to cow Republicans into voting for the Save America Act, even though he knows it's dead in the water. Oddly enough, wowee, look at this. Donald Trump sharing a link from Al Jazeera about how the U.S. strategy is working, which we'll get to that in a little bit when we talk about how things are going with the war in Iran. But needless to say, I don't think that's the case. Wow, Venezuela defeated Italy tonight 4-2 in the World Baseball Cup. I assume that's what it stands for. Baseball semifinal. They're looking really great. Good things are happening to Venezuela lately. I wonder what this magic is all about. Statehood, number 51, anyone, President Donald J. Trump. Like, this is an insane way to talk about policy. Like, momentous. Like, he watched them play a sports game and now he's considering statehood for Venezuela. Insane. Lunatic. That's not the Al Jazeera I've been watching. It's an opinion piece from Al Jazeera. Like, it's making points that I just kind of absolutely disagree with on basically every one of these points. Who is this guy? I have no idea who this guy is. Who is he? Even Fox News was like, whoa, an op-ed in Al Jazeera? Whoa. That being said, let's take a look at one of my favorite clips of the day of Donald Trump's brain just being goddamn soup.
The Irish president has said that your war against Iran is illegal. It's an attack on international law.
Who said that?
The Irish president.
Look, he's lucky I exist. That's all I can say. Because if you're going to allow countries that are sick and demented, and they are demented, to have nuclear weapons, everybody in the whole world should be very thankful. And I'm disappointed in NATO, very disappointed. I'm disappointed in a couple of other countries too. But they should be very thankful that this group of people feels the way we do. Because...
So, a couple of things. It is very clear that he has no idea who the president of Ireland is, or anything about Ireland, because Ireland's not in NATO. Ireland's president is also notably not a man, and is in fact a woman. And also, like, Iran was going to target Ireland? I don't think so. I don't think at all on the list of Iran's targets for vengeance was Ireland. Yet he's just literally... His brain is soup. His brain is soup, man. And, like, I know that he doesn't give a fuck about any of this, but, like, it's still wild to see happen over and over and over again. Let's go back to his Truth Social feed for a moment. Oh, Hang Out with Sean Hannity. Hang Out with Sean Hannity is a great new podcast streaming now. Sean is a fantastic guy and has been right from my political beginnings. President DJT. He's like shilling podcasts and stuff. Like, he's genuinely gone. Look, I was at a UFC match or CFP match. Look at me. I cheered during the national anthem. I was cheered at the college football national championship game. People love me. They really love me. Now, I know that I'm in the media right now, in some hot water due to this Jeffrey Epstein fellow. But here, let me surround myself with a few young children. That will get the press off my back. Like, okay. It's just several articles about him going to this event, by the way. Oh, Jack Smith, he's so evil. He's so evil. NATO long warned of Russian-Chinese threats to Greenland, now rejects Trump's ownership solution. Like, it's all fucking aggrievement and, like, just reposting articles. It's very bizarre. It is very bizarre stuff. But, like, other stuff. Susie Wiles is an incredible chief of staff, a great person and one of the strongest people I know, but unfortunately she's been diagnosed with early-stage breast cancer, has decided to take on this challenge immediately, as opposed to waiting. She has a fantastic medical team and her prognosis is excellent. During the treatment period, she will be spending virtually full time at the White House, which makes me, as president, very happy. Her strength and her commitment to continue doing the job she loves and does so well while undergoing treatment tells you everything you need to know about her. Susie, as one of my closest and most important advisors, is tough and deeply committed to serving the American people. She will soon be better than ever. Melania and I are with her in every way, and we look forward to working with Susie on the many big and wonderful things that are happening for the benefit of our country. President Donald J. Trump. Like, it's insane. And, you know, if you're wondering, hey, why is he sharing this? This isn't his news to share. Well, it turns out Donald Trump is really fond of just sharing medical information unprompted and unasked. I want to share with you guys this clip, which is frankly astounding to me.
Or three, but we had a death, and then we had another death, and we had some things, and but we're looking very strong. We had one man who was very ill. It looked like he wasn't going to make it. I don't know. I won't mention his name. Should I? Do other people know his name? Do you want to mention it? He'll be proud. Go ahead. Tell him the story.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. President. Congressman Neil Dunn of Florida had some real health challenges, and it was very serious, and had a pretty grim diagnosis. And I mentioned it to the president, and I said, Congressman Dunn is a real champion and a patriot because he's still coming to work. And if others got this diagnosis, they would be apt to go home and retire. And
what was the diagnosis?
It was, I think it was a terminal diagnosis.
He would be dead by June.
Okay, that wasn't public, but yeah, okay. That's it was grim. That's what I was going to say. I don't think
with a heart problem, by the way. This was a heart problem.
Right. So the long story short, the president called him to encourage him and thank him, and they had a conversation, and the president mentioned in the course of the conversation, you know how to get my doctors involved, and they did, and within a number of hours, they took him to Walter Reed Emergency Surgery. The man has a new lease on life. He acts like he's 30 years younger, and he walked into the conference meeting, and we thought we'd seen a ghost. And I spoke with him over the weekend, and he's encouraged and thankful, and he thanks the president for his leadership and intervention, and thank you.
He actually called Mike. Mike called me and he said, "Sir, we're up by 3, but we're going to lose 1 by June." I said, "Who?" Neil Dunn. He's a great congressman. Incredible. He called to say that he was terminal, really bad heart. There's nothing they can do. I said, "That's bad." Number one, it was bad because I liked him.
He's just telling the story again immediately.
Number two, it was bad because I needed his vote. But he really said, "Mike, I'm going to last this out for the president and you. And however long I live," it looks like June is the time, but however long I live, I'm going to be voting for you. How many people are going to say that? Most of them are going to say, "Mike, I'm retiring immediately." That's the end.
He's an extraordinary man.
But he didn't do that. It was really impressive. And then 4-3.
Like, when we talk about brain rot, and his brain turning to soup or chowder or whatever, like, this is what I mean. Like, he has no filter anymore. He can't not just be like, Susie Wiles has cancer now. He can't not be like, oh yeah, this guy was totally gonna die, but I needed him for his votes. He was gonna be dead by June with his terminal diagnosis for his heart. And like, everyone else in the room, you heard the gasp, the audible gasp from the audience when he said that. We're genuinely like a day away from this guy wandering out of the White House completely naked and just like lost. Like we are so close to this guy just having no connection to reality whatsoever. Like every thread is snapping right now. The crazed Democrats are not allowing TSA agents to get paid. The deal was made a long time ago. They broke it in order to get money for sanctuary cities and illegal aliens, many of them hardened criminals. The radical left Democrats are hopeless. And then just like panicins, no panicins. It's just nonstop fucking insanity from these people. Look at this. This is a massive 2-part post. And I'm just going to read it to you guys and let you understand. This is about the Supreme Court disappointing him. I actually have to open this in a new tab because I can't properly see the bottom of the image. Okay? The courts treat Republicans and me so unfairly, always seeming to protect those who should not be protected. They are highly politicized. Cases don't matter. The judge does. As an example, how is this absolutely terrible Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Too Late Powell, not even allowed to be investigated for the horrible job he does? How is he allowed to be billions of dollars over budget and years behind schedule on the simple renovation of the small Federal Reserve complex in Washington, D.C., where he created an absolute disaster, a money pit, an embarrassment to our country for the whole world to see? It is a little project that has been under construction for many years. The contractor on the job, along with Powell, should also be heavily investigated in that it is impossible for a professional to have such enormous cost overruns. It is the highest priced building per square foot of any project ever built, with no end in sight, and may not even be open for many years to come. I strongly criticize Jerome Too Late for his horrible performance throughout his tenure, which is either gross incompetence, total dishonesty, or both. And in return for his well-justified criticism, getting viciously and wrongfully blamed by, as usual, a wacky, nasty, crooked, and totally out of control judge named James Boasberg, a man who suffers from the highest level of Trump derangement syndrome, TDS, and has been after my people and me for years. The D.C. Circuit eagerly supported the arrest and persecution of innocent Republicans for no crimes at all, but now is preventing even a basic investigation into the gross financial mismanagement of the Federal Reserve. In case after case, Boasberg has displayed open, flagrant, and extreme partisan bias and contempt against Republicans and the Trump administration. To preserve the integrity of the judiciary, he should be removed from all cases pertaining to us and suffer serious disciplinary action. As should numerous other corrupt judges that, unfortunately, our country has had to endure. What Boasberg has done on the Too Late Powell case and many others has little to do with the law and everything to do with politics. He's exactly what judges should not be. Boasberg would be better to focus on justice and fairness, not his own and the Democrats' political agenda, which has become legendary. Much like prosecutor deranged Jack Smith and many others, Boasberg is a disgrace, as was his predecessor to our legal process and our highly politicized court system, which was just witnessed firsthand by the unfortunate and unwarranted tariff decision recently handed down by the United States Supreme Court, which was a gift to countries and companies who've been ripping off the United States of America for decades at levels never seen before. That's part one. That's part one. We aren't even done with his whole comment. Part two. He's really, really mad about the tariff stuff. The decision that mattered most to me was tariffs. The court knew where I stood, how badly I wanted this victory for our country, and instead decided to, potentially, give away trillions of dollars to countries and companies who've been taking advantage of the United States for decades. But I wanted it! I wanted it! Why couldn't you give me what I want? Like, he's literally regressing into a child. Our Supreme Court has made these countries very happy, but the court pointed out, I have the absolute right to charge tariffs in another form, and have already started to do so. The hundreds of billions of dollars that our adversaries want our country to pay back to others that have disrespected the USA until I came along should be marked down in the eyes of the public as just another reason why the United States had been in such major decline. But not anymore, because we have made America great again, and very soon it will be greater than ever before. I want to thank Justices Alito, Thomas, and Kavanaugh for their wisdom and courage pertaining to the tariff case, and for understanding, in addition to the law, that our unfriendly competitors should not be reimbursed and rewarded for the decades of damage they have caused the United States of America. This is a perfect time for us to pause and say, hey, everybody, this is your PSA to remind you that other countries weren't paying those tariffs. You, the American consumer, were the ones paying for those tariffs. You were the ones who got ripped off. And if you weren't paying for those tariffs directly in your online checkout cart, you were paying them in price markups in your hardware store, in your, Walmarts, in your Walgreens, etc. Like, prices were going up because of the tariffs. It is a tax on the American people, in other words. I will fight hard to make sure that this does not happen. The Democrats on the court always stick together no matter how strong a case is put before them. There's rarely a minor waiver, but Republicans do not do this. They openly disrespect the presidents who nominate them to the highest position in the land, a justice of the United States Supreme Court, and go out of their way with bad and wrongful rulings and intentions to prove how honest, independent, and legitimate they are. Like, he's literally complaining about judges being honest because he wants them to be corrupt. Like, that's what's happening here. I just got a bill from FedEx for a tariff, and it was even more than the tariff because they charged me for them paying the tariff up front. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The Democrat justices just vote Democrat. They always stick together, which, again, is not true. Our country was unnecessarily ransacked by the United States Supreme Court, which has become little more than a weaponized and unjust political organization. The sad thing is, they will only get worse. They wouldn't even call out the rigged presidential election of 2020 because they said that I, as president of the United States, did not have standing to challenge it. And now with time, it has been conclusively proven to be stolen. No, it hasn't. And look what happened to our wonderful nation by allowing a grossly incompetent man, Sleepy Joe Biden, to be our president. This completely inept and embarrassing court was not what the Supreme Court of the United States was set up by our wonderful founders to be. They are hurting our country and will continue to do so. All I could do as president is call them out for their bad behavior. This statement about the United States Supreme Court will cause me nothing but problems in the future, but I feel it is my obligation to speak the truth. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again, President Donald J. Trump. This is what he's doing. This is what he's doing, like, all the time. Like, that... His brain is gone, guys. It's just fucking gone. And also, you can tell that it's gone because while he's whining about how, all the prosperity is going to be gone from America because tariffs are gone now, and I have to do tariffs a different way... just reminder that this man is actually shaping policy for the United States of America. And, Trump's cancellation of licenses for immigrant truckers takes effect. So, just as an FYI, in case you were expecting shipping to be going well and for shipping costs not to go up, disabuse yourself of that notion. Because, effectively, our immigrant workforce accounts for about 200,000 truckers in the United States. Trucking is the lifeblood of commerce in this country. And, they're taking away the licenses from 200,000 truckers because they happen to be immigrants. Not even undocumented, just immigrants. Let's take a look here. The rule bars immigrants who are asylum seekers, refugees, or recipients of deferred action for childhood arrivals or DACA from obtaining commercial driver's licenses. It's part of the Trump administration's widening campaign against immigrant truck drivers following several high-profile accidents last summer. Those with valid commercial driver's licenses will lose their driving privileges as their license expire, not immediately. But like, it's genuinely insane. Here's one of the stories. Alexei Semenovsky, 41, of Pennsylvania, has driven long-haul trucks since 2020 and will lose his license in September. I have a completely clean moving record. No accidents, no violations. I pay taxes, said Semenovsky, an asylum seeker from Russia and a plaintiff in a lawsuit against the Trump administration aiming to invalidate the rule. They're roasting me under open fire for not having done anything illegal. Cool stuff. Hey guys, what happens when solid 5% of the workforce that ships things around the country suddenly goes away? Nothing good.
Good night, all meds have kicked in. Thanks again, Jack, for my B-Day song. Gorgeous voice. Perfect way to end my celebration. People hugging emoji, hugging face emoji, open hands emoji, people hugging emoji.
Chris Huggins, thank you for the $5 super chat. Get good sleep. And happy birthday again. Like, there's nothing good that comes out of this. And this is just like one relatively small thing, but a relatively small thing in a country the size of America affects hundreds of thousands of people. And with Donald Trump just having a fucking gelatinized brain, his brain is dying, chat. The trucking industry has been talking about being 80,000 drivers short since 2021. What in the world are they thinking? Yeah, I don't know how turning that number into almost 300,000 drivers short is going to improve things, but that's what the Trump administration is doing. Again, basically everything they are doing right now at Trump's direction is destroying our ability to live just normal lives in America. And it's only going to get worse before it starts to get better. So folks, if you want to be part of the solution here, we need to form a coalition against this stupidity. We need to form a coalition against the forces of capital that are pushing this stupidity in order to reap bigger and bigger profits, frankly. Because again, as the excuses to push, as the excuses pile up to raise prices, well, companies just see that as an excuse to bring up prices even higher so they can actually make even more profit while having some plausible deniability, right? And like, we also need to reckon with the fact that billionaires and 100-millionaires, they're organized. They are organized right now to buy political favors. And it's why someone who is a soup brain like Donald Trump, who is just completely off his rocker, who's lost it, who's just like posting and posting and posting nonsense into the void, is wielding such authority right now. And it's because he has the backing of not just the billionaires, but the entire GOP behind him. The entire GOP is okay with what he's doing because what he's doing is okay to the billionaires. Because when the economy crashes and you're a billionaire, what happens? You have the opportunity to become the world's first trillionaire. And that's currently what all the billionaires in the world are doing right now. Okay? They are all competing. They are all jockeying to be the world's first trillionaire. And how do they do it? Well, when the market bottoms out and collapses and crashes, they swoop in with their massive amount of capital and they buy up everything that they can. They hoover it all up so that when the economy bounces back, they are suddenly exponentially wealthier. Okay? And that is why you have seen over the course of the last, couple centuries, wealth continue to consolidate and to continue to consolidate and continue to consolidate. Because this cycle of booms and busts, it is part of capitalism. But when the billionaires juice the system to boom and bust, the booms get smaller and the busts get deeper. Okay? Because we get less and less of the economic booms, and they buy up more and more during the economic busts. That's how it works. And so the wealthiest people on the planet and Republicans and some corporate Democrats are all in lockstep on this issue, which is what makes this time so scary. It's what makes Donald Trump in particular so scary. It's because even though he is very clearly insane and unfit to hold his office, they're letting him wreck as much as he can get his hands on in order to make the biggest profit that they could possibly conceive of. All that being said, folks, you need to organize. So join your local Dems, join your local DSA, show up. Because what we need to get through this is not just some magical savior who's going to come out of nowhere to lead us to like a better world. We can't rely on waiting for a hero. We have to become our own heroes. You know? We have to be willing to step up and organize together, to show up at our local Democratic meetings, to show up at our local DSA meetings, to figure out how to work together for the greater benefit of everybody. Okay? It is incredibly important that you do so. We have people in chat tonight who have done that. They have done the work. They've shown up, and they've been given actual power in their local political scene. And we all need to be doing that as much as we possibly can, okay? So show up and take the reins of power. In some cases, they might freely be offered to you. And we need to organize on the local level so that we can build up a durable movement that doesn't just evaporate when the next president gets into office. You know, we cannot do Obama 2 again, okay? We can't do this. Obama built up an incredible grassroots coalition of groups and people banding together to get himself into office. And once he did, he disbanded all of it. No one could ever use that same network again. And what we need is for folks to build up a durable grassroots movement that cannot just be hand-waved away in the future. And that takes all of us beginning to participate in it. So join your local Dems, radicalize them, make them more progressive. Join your local DSA, make them more effective. If you need help getting started doing this, you can join our Discord and reach out to Dragonfly for help with your local Dems. Reach out to GamerG for help with your local DSA. Both have a lot of organizing experience and can offer you advice on how to do these things. How to get involved just at the beginning, how to radicalize your Dems, how to make your DSA more effective, how to break us out as people on the left from this tendency to virtue signal and circle jerk rather than actually get out there and change our local political scene. Because that's what we need to do. We need to change our political scene. It is not enough to sit around and talk about, you know, the minutia and to try and make ourselves seem like the most virtuous people in existence. Our job is to get results. So, yeah, get your DSA to stop LARPing, exactly. So, folks, do the thing. Join our Discord, or you can find Dragonfly and alternatively, you can find Dragonfly and GamerG over on riverboat.gg, often in most streams, in most chats. So head on over to riverboat.gg, just type it into your address bar, and you can join the on-screen chat as well. All that being said, I just want to say I'm really proud of each and every one of you who has gotten involved, okay? I'm really, really proud of you guys. I love this. I get tired of the online space stuff. Well, that's because in order for it to become real, you need to take your correct ideas, your correct opinions, and actually show up to organize with other people. You know? It takes getting offline in a lot of cases. So all that being said, if you got anything out of this, leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Longer than 8 words apparently does better in the algorithm. And last but not least, check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is incredible, sexy lingerie that will fit and is designed to have a better fit for people with larger rib cages or people who want a larger gusset on their panties, stuff like that. It is going to fit and it's going to look great. So do check it out. Link down in the doobly-doo, and let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather around. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.